The light's not very good because there is a window behind me, but the topic of this video is sleep, and it's just a perfect example of something I used to do when Billy slept, and now he doesn't sleep as much, and it's just one of those things you have to get used to. That's a bit better for now. I wish more people spoke about sleep issues, because you tend to hear a lot about my baby slept through the night and my baby this, and like, so what? I remember my mom telling me like that all of us were sleepers, so like me and my brothers and sisters, you okay baby? And that we slept really well, and that she just doesn't remember any of us having any like sleep issues. And the other side, I had Peter's mom saying, oh Jesus, Peter loved to sleep, you could never wake him up, and he just slept constantly. This is going to be a walk in the park, but it wasn't. I think there definitely is a point to be made about sleep when it comes to bottle feeding or breastfeeding, and this isn't to say that either is the better choice for you. Breastfeeding was our choice, not initially, actually, it just kind of happened that way. I didn't really want to breastfeed, and it worked out and ended up being the best thing I ever did, but that's another video. So I think when you're formula feeding, you're in that frame of mind of like giving a certain amount of ounces at a certain amount of time, you know, with certain gaps in between, and like sleep starts to be associated with milk. I do think that that's where people who are breastfeeding struggle a little bit, because people will say to you, would you give a bottle? Like, give a bottle and I'm sure he or she will sleep better. And I remember doing that. He actually didn't react well to formula, so it was actually a bottle of breast milk, and I gave him a bottle of breast milk before he went to bed one night, a big bottle, and he drank the whole thing, and he was conked out, and I was like, this is a new thing for us, and he'll just have a bottle when he goes to bed, and this is going to open up this whole, area for me, and I can like meet my friends in the evenings or whatever. But it made absolutely no difference. He still woke up the exact same amount of times for feeds. It just meant I was stressed about pumping. So I just knocked that on the head very quickly. But I did find that some of my friends who were bottle feeding, their kids were sleeping better. And it's funny, like if I have another baby, I wouldn't formula feed for that reason. Even when it's so bad that you just think you'll never do it again, you'll want to do it again. So like, I've forgotten those days now. I've forgotten the really bad newborn days where just sleep was just a nightmare. Sleep is a nightmare for everybody. Like, I think when you have a newborn, sleep is a nightmare. Don't expect sleep for the first year. That's my advice anyway. Some babies sleep after a couple of weeks. I don't know them babies. They definitely are not mine. I think though for a lot of people it's after the 1 mark. So it's kind of, for a few of my friends it was kind of 14, 15 months. The darker side of parenting, the darker side of becoming a mother, is that I think you sometimes correlate bad sleep with failure, like failing as a parent and like doing something wrong. And I know I felt that way. I felt, why is that person's baby sleeping and that person's baby sleeping and mine isn't? I did the baby massage, I did the bath every night, the pajamas, the wind down time, the dim lights, the sleep toys, the certain blankets, the grow bags, without the grow bags, the perfect temperature. The result was random pockets and nuggets of time where sleep was definitely better than it was before, but nothing that ever really stuck. Like the most recent one would be moving from cot to toddler bed, and I will link that video below. That was not the solution for us for sleep. It definitely had lots of positives, and I'm delighted we did it. It didn't solve our sleep issue. There's an argument for sleepers or not sleepers. I definitely think Billy's not a sleeper. Was he born not a sleeper? Did I make him not a sleeper? I don't know. All I know is I wouldn't do things any differently. I wouldn't not co-sleep. I wouldn't not breastfeed. And I wouldn't not respond to his needs when he needed me. Like, there's a name for attachment parenting. I'm not really into that whole labeling how you parent your child, because it's not like a subject in school. It's just an emotional thing. I just don't like that. But I probably was an attachment parent in that I liked wearing a sling. I wasn't into any of the Gina Ford stuff or the really strict routine stuff. I kind of just, for me, I just did what felt natural, and it wasn't to be a certain type of parent or to be a certain type of person. It was just because it's just what made me feel more confident as a mother. I don't know if the way I allowed Billy to co-sleep or the way I breastfed him till he was 2 or any of that stuff, if that affected his sleep. I mean, I'm sure it did, because all those things are things that you do throughout the day, every single day of the child's life. So they're going to obviously have an effect on them emotionally and physically and cognitively. But so what? Do you know what I mean? Like, so what if that did make him a bad sleeper? It is what it is. And I think Back in the day when Billy was a child, when he was a baby, I was wishing away his whole childhood. I was wishing for him to get to 1 because he was going to sleep when he was 1. And I was wishing for him to get to 1.5 because he was definitely going to sleep when he was 1.5. And then 2 was just like, well, obviously he's going to be like sleeping when he's 2. We're probably going to have another baby by then. And like, that's not how it happened. You know, he's 2.5 now and he still doesn't sleep. Like, he's not, you know, he's a lot better than he was. For example, last night, he still does nap. He would nap for 2 hours if I let him, but he mostly naps for an hour. Now, yesterday he napped for 2 hours because he's been sick, he's had a lung infection, he's on antibiotics, and he was very run down yesterday after his little play school. After not being in play school for a week, he was exhausted, so I just let him nap. We went to my friend's house, and I was between walking to the first bus and getting on the second bus and the whole journey and walking to my friend's house. It was 2 hours, and I just let him sleep. And like, I made that choice for me and for him because the bus journey would have been a lot more stressful if he was awake. So I sat back, chilled out and relaxed. So I kind of replaced my evening relaxing with that chill out time during the day. Playing a little game in there. So last night he went to bed late, so it was 9 o'clock. It took a while to get him down. Like, he still has a bottle, so when I stopped breastfeeding Billy, he just became obsessed with bottles of cow's milk. So he asks about 20 times a day, and obviously I say no. But he has a bottle going to bed, and sometimes if he wakes up at night, we give him another bottle. It's probably the wrong thing to do, but again, I just don't really buy that. Like, just do what you have to do. Went to bed at 9, and he woke up at 10:15, crying for me. I went up to him. I sat beside him, I rubbed his face, I rubbed his back, I cuddled him, I shushed him back asleep, and he was back asleep within max 10 minutes. Then he slept that was 10:15. I checked on him when I went to bed at 1:30 because my cousin stayed over last night, so I was up quite late. And I checked him on at 1:30 and he was halfway down his bed, nearly about to fall out. So I put pillows on the floor and I just covered him up because he'd no blanket on him. And he slept from 10:15 till 6:15. That's amazing. Like, that's amazing for Billy. That's a really, really, really good night. Then he came into my bed at 6:15 and I knew if I gave him a bit of milk, he'd go back asleep. So I went down, made him a little bottle, 2 ounces of cow's milk, 1 ounce of water, heated it up, stuck him in beside me in the bed, and he actually slept till 9:15. Like, delighted with my little self. And Peter's in Austria at the moment over at the Ireland game. So my cousin stayed over last night, so she was actually in the bed with me, so he was in the middle. For us and for Billy, every night is different. We've good nights and we've bad nights. Still doesn't sleep through the night, but he sleeps through a lot of the night. I get my kind of couple of hours in the evening to get stuff done. I get to have my shower. I get to get myself organised for the next day. I feel like he's had a good night's sleep when we wake up the next morning. So a lot of positives, but he doesn't go to bed at 8 o'clock, self-settle, go sleep and sleep till 8 o'clock in the morning. It's never been the case for us. And honestly, it's okay. Like, it's honestly fine. I've gotten so used to it now that I plan our days accordingly. So if we've had a bad night's sleep the night before, I don't make a lot of plans the next day. Obviously, in a perfect world, we won't have to work and we don't have to clean and cook and all that. But you just do what you have to do to survive. So if he's had a really, really bad night the night before, I might let him have a longer nap. Of course it's going to affect the next night, but you just do what you have to do. Do you know what I mean? I would urge you as a new mother to be less obsessed with sleep, less obsessed with what your friend and your mother and your sister and the online forum girl is telling you about how your baby should sleep. Embrace that your baby is an individual. Embrace that you are an individual as a mother. You're going to do what you have to do to survive. I would say is, don't spend the first 2 years of your life with your child obsessing over sleep. People are obsessed with sleep, obsessed with the idea of sleeping through the night, obsessed with the idea of how well your baby is sleeping. When it doesn't come and when you feel disheartened, you'll feel so depressed, you'll feel so down, and that makes daily life really, really difficult, because when you're so sleep deprived and you're exhausted, the world is a dark place. It's like a depression. It's torture. So do what you have to do to get some sleep. If that's co-sleeping, co-sleep. If that's going to bed at 7 p.m, go to bed at 7 p.m. If that's giving a bottle when your child is 2.5, just do it. It's not going to hurt him. Billy's 2.5. He does not sleep through the night, but I've made peace with that. We're happy. We're getting sleep. We're surviving. It's fine. Would I prefer if he slept through the night? Obviously, like, it would make life a lot easier. It would be logistically a lot easier to plan things and just to know what was going to happen and kind of, but we sort of have to take our evenings as they come. If he's sleeping for a good chunk of the night and I kind of know it's going to be a good night, I get loads of work done that night. And if it's a bad night, I just go to bed with him and I just get a good night's sleep myself, and that's just how I roll with it. It's just, we're so obsessed with sleep. It's such a pressure on mothers and fathers and families. Like there was a news report during the week of an Irish family who share an 18-foot bed. The wife and the husband and 4 of their kids. The kids are aged 5 to 11. Like I could see how that would make life easier. And they still had the date nights and they still made time for each other. And anyway, it's none of my business. It's not my story to tell. But, so anyway, that's my story with sleep. 2.5. He doesn't sleep through the night. We're fine. Makeup does a lot. Thanks a million for watching this video. It's quite long. Thanks for sticking with me if you watch the whole thing. Check out Channel Mum for all the other videos about sleep and people's sleep stories, because it's one of those topics where everyone has a different story, and it's just really fascinating to see how the same thing can work so differently for various families and how everybody's experience is different. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of my videos, and subscribe to Channel Mum, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much. Bye.